Alright, it's 9:30 the next morning. I've already busted out my tools. The handrail section is off that I need to get my next 12-foot section done with. I'm going to go to this post, so I'm going to cut this one off here and hopefully get 12 more feet done today. But I've got a busy day, so I got to try to knock this out as quickly as I possibly can and safely. All right, I'm going to put it on time lapse and we'll see how this goes. You may have caught me putting in shims in this area here to try to plumb this up, but after getting it in there, and I did get it plumb, you know, towards the house and the pool, I looked up and the gap as far as my string went, I was over this way almost 3/4 of an inch. So I'm more interested in keeping a straight line from end to end on this, so it doesn't have this wandering look to it. And I thought that was more important than keeping it plumb. I did get them plumb the other direction, so that when the pickets go on, that's not such a visual. So go inside. I will make the next set of 12-foot laterals and get the vinyl on those. All right, I came inside and tried to figure out a way that I am going to flare the ends of this to go over the last piece of lateral vinyl that's out there. And what I've come up with is I've got this piece of angle iron clamped to the table and another piece here ready, but I'm going to heat the end of this up, and I've made up this template or this fixture, and I've put these screws in as a stop all the way around this thing. And when I heat this, I'm going to shove this in so that all of the screws hit against this end. And that should give me the distance in I want it to overlap it. But then while it's still in there and it's warm, I'm going to shove it back here, and I'm going to put this piece of angle iron over it, next to it, and I'm going to clamp that in place. And then once that's clamped, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to clamp it down like that, and hopefully that's going to keep it from getting this balloon look to it. But to prep this piece, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but it has a beveled edge on it, and I'm going to take you over here to the shopsmith and show you how I did that. Now I've tapered this end down to almost nothing, and then I've tapered this so that it will start in there and start that, you know, oversizing process. But over here, I've got on the shopsmith, get my mics out of the way here, I've taken just a Dremel tool and put it in my chuck, clamped on a rail over here, and then I take a piece of the lateral material and I start on this end down here and go in. Let me turn it on and see if I can do it with one hand. but that gives me a nice taper to get that fixture started in there and start that flaring process. But I'll put it on time lapse and we'll see how the first one goes. All right, not perfect. It still has a little bit of that flare out on the sides, a little bit on the top, but I'm going to be satisfied with that, and I'll get a couple of those made and then get the treated lumber planed down to fit inside, and we'll get these up. All right, I've got the sleeves on the poles. I've got the vinyl flared. I've got it onto the lateral. I left like 24 3/4 inches hollow on this end, so it'll slide over the section that's not covered yet. And I'm going to get some blocking set up so that everything is at the right height. So all I'll have to do is slide them in, set them on the blocking, and screw those in place. But I'm going to put it on time lapse and knock this thing out so that I can get the pickets put on it. All right, I did not film anything yesterday, unfortunately, just because I was kind of behind the 8 ball in my schedule, but I did get another section done on that. I have one little section here to tear out yet. I've got some more vinyl sleeving to put on these laterals over here, but I'm going to wait until I get the lateral treated lumber cut and sized for here, and I'm going to sleeve those as one. But I'm going to turn the camera around and show you a little dilemma that I got myself into by just getting a little overzealous and not thinking. As I was putting up the pickets last night, I was calculating that between each one of the posts, I was using 12 of the pickets. And so I went down and I figured out, with this section being a little shorter, that it was going to take just about 44 pickets or 46 pickets, I don't remember. But I calculated that I'm going to be about 2 short. And now I did make extras when I did this last year, but what I didn't plan on is my overzealous part was to keep this lateral from moving. I went ahead and I put a picket right against the posts to help secure them. One there, 2 there, and 1 down there. And I could have had like 3 extras that would have been able to be used out on the front section. But I think I'm going to end up being too short. We'll see as this project goes along. But I do have extras of the longer pickets. Now I believe the spacing between here and here on the doubles is different, but I'll be able to take a single and just bend it, drill the holes in it, because I still have the jig I made for the spacing on those holes, and I'll be able to make a single work rather easy. But I may have to, because the spacing might be different between the double twist, I might have to cut it, take a section out, and weld it back together. But I do have that mixture I made for blackening this, so all I'll have to do is heat it up, wipe on that waxy substance, and turn it black again. But we'll see how it works out here as this goes along. But I'll put this on time lapse, and we will try to get this last section done. Okay, yesterday when I wasn't filming, I tried something that worked out pretty well, but I'll show you here real quick. These are carriage bolts that the original constructors put through there, and I never bothered to try to tighten those. They go through two from that floor joist, and then there are two lags right here, and here that go into this header. So I tried to, I took my impact wrench and I tried tightening those up while I was holding this post plumb, or these posts plumb, because they are quite loose. And boy, did that tighten those up. It made one heck of a difference. Now, I still ended up using 6-inch timber screws through the face of the headers here, because they were pulling away from one another right here at this joint. So before I would go ahead and tighten these up, I would run the timber screws in, especially in the ones that were pulling apart. Let's see if I have any that are really bad here. No, I don't have any that are right here that are really bad, but I tightened those up with the timber screws first, and then I tightened up the carriage bolts, and then I came back with the 5-inch timber screws and secured it both to the header and to the floor joist. So it really firmed up those posts, and I've been able to keep a fairly straight line running down through there. I'm happy with it. I have more of the caps on order, and the other thing that I am going to do is, I told you I was going to end up with this cavity here to keep all these the same height. I'm going to go back and I'm going to cut chunks of 4x4 to fill these in to equal them off, and I'm going to glue those to the existing posts just so there's some meat in behind that vinyl. All right, let's get back to getting this thing together. is one of the last flares that I did, and I got better at it as it went along. Of course, you know, it's the end of the job. Not all of them turned out that well, but that is the joint, and hopefully they will stay sealed. And let's get out here in the sunshine again. But I think it's a cleaner look than just a butt joint myself. I need about 50 more screws. I'm not sure if I'm out here or not, but I do know that I special ordered them from eBay, and they have a square drive head on them, 1.25 inch long stainless steel. So I doubt that I'll find anything in town, but I may order them and just get something to get them screwed up, and just go back and exchange them at a later date when they come in. We'll see. All right, I am going to have to order some more of those stainless steel screws. All I had was some 1-inch zinc plated, and I don't want those to end up starting to rust. So I'm gonna have to go back in and change probably about 45 of those screws or so. So here's a shot down the front from the inside, and the tops of the posts. Not perfect, but really darn close. Really happy with that, and I'm gonna get picked up and go to a tennis match, and hopefully I'll make up one last shot with the caps on it before I complete this series of this fence build video. I got a little ahead of myself. If you're anything like me, you want to see it complete, and it's not complete. I've got a couple more things to do, and one of them is I made a bunch of ends up for the ends of the laterals that have the treated lumber showing. And what I did is I took a piece of a lateral vinyl skin, and I just cut it with one of these type saws, and cut it off to length, and made a template out of one of them, and made, I think, 6 or 7 of them. But I ended up fitting it by using my disc sander that's on my Shopsmith. Think this will work to save this tube of adhesive? Scrap piece of plastic. What do you think? Will it work? All right, it was just about a month ago that I changed the design of this fence. I was going to put a top plate that was just like a decking board that would go across the front of this like a leaning rail. But I changed that and decided to go with post caps. And in doing that, I was short parts. So I went in and ordered them. There was a kerfuffle on the first part of the oil order, and I had to go back in, reorder it, but they gave me a better price, so I wasn't going to complain. And then we ran into a minimum order problem, but the pros down at Lowe's really helped out and went above and beyond, got me the parts. It took a little longer than I'd like to have waited, but hey, it worked out. And I got 12 more caps, which should give me one extra by the time I'm done, and I had to get 8 more of these skirts trim pieces for the bottom, but I can't put these on until I get the decking boards put on. But that is a project for next year. So I'm going to turn the camera around, I'm going to put it on time lapse, and we're going to get these caps on and get this project completed. All right, now I can put a conclusion on this video. I did this section behind me here. I did the section at the other end with the gate on it last year. Then I came in and did the section at the far end that had the poles in the ground. And then I did this section right behind me over here. And then I finished it off with this across the front. So this project is now in the books as far as the fence goes. I've opened up another can of worms with the deck that goes, the decking boards on the bottom. I've got 2 rows of that pulled off currently, and I'm going to have to pull the rest of it off. And we'll probably end up going with that composite wood, plastic wood, as far as the deck goes. But that's a project for another day. I've got a few more projects I'd like to get in before winter, and I've got a bunch that are done and need to be edited and put on. So hopefully when we get some rain here over the next couple days, I'll get some more of those posted. All right, thanks again for watching. And as always, like and subscribe if you would, please. It really does help the channel. Comments even do. But have a great day, and thanks for watching.